Good morning. This is your stats sensei, Mr. Spensei, and we're going to go over one sample proportions. So this is our warm up. So a particular shopping mall has over 7,500 visitors. That sounds like that might be important. During a typical week, 60% of the visitors spend over $125 when they visit the mall. The mall was recently remodeled, and the owners of the mall are trying to determine if the percentage of visitors spending at least 125 has increased. That's an important word. A simple random sample of 550 people leaving the mall showed that 64% had spent over 125. Provide statistical evidence to answer the mall owner's question using a hypothesis test at an alpha level of 0.05. Highlight, underline, and or circle the information you think may be important. In the space provided, define the parameter of interest and list and label the information that you think may be important. What information appears to be missing? Well, we're talking about proportions, so our where the parameter is the population proportion. So let P equal the true population proportion. And what do we care about? I think we care about the number of the proportion of mall goers who spend at least $125. All right, so that's what we care about. All right, stuff that I think is important. Well, we have 7,500. And to me, I'm not sure, but that sounds like that's probably my population size. All right. 60% of the visitors spend over 125. That's what was happening prior to it. So I'm thinking that is my population proportion. So P equals 0.60 or 60%. And the reason that's important is because we're going to say our null hypothesis is P equals 0.60, because that's what the status quo was. All right. They want to know that at least 125 has increased. So my alternative is going to be P is greater than 0.60 because we want to know if it's increased. A simple random sample of 550. So N is 550. And it's important that they told us it was a random sample. Showed that 64%. Well, that's interesting. So they give us the sample statistic, which is 64%. So 0.64 or 64%. They give us that. All right. And they give us an alpha level of 0.05. And that's important because that's what we're going to compare to. What appears to be missing is we need, for p hat and for the calculator, we're going to need x over n. Well, it turns out it looks like we're missing x. So we're missing the x, which is the number of people spending greater than $125. So that's what it looks like we're missing. And the way we would find that is we'd go, well, I know p hat. So p hat is 0.64. We don't have x, but we do have an n of 550. And I can solve that by multiplying 550 times 64. So 550 times 0.64. Now it's going to be really important that this is a whole number. If it's a decimal, we're going to have to round up or round down. So 550 times 0.64 equals 352. So what we were missing was X, but now we have it. Now, I'll tell you this, if I'd gone to run the test, stat test, one proportion Z test, it asked for P hat, or it asked for the population, which is 0.6. It asked for X, and they didn't give me that, so I can go 0.64 times 550. And if it's a whole number, we're good to go. X and N must always be whole numbers. All right. Appreciate you watching. Hope that clears up any concerns you have.